Gravitrons on more gravity. Let's play chess. All right, so this game, I won this game about 3 minutes ago. Um, I went into a timeout, and that's the only reason I would have won it. I played against a strong player, uh, and I might have had a bit of an advantage, as you see here on the game graph, uh, about a third of the way into the game. But that advantage dissipated. So here we go. Queen's pawn opening, Queen's Gambit declined, but it's actually the Slav. So the Slav defense, some normal developing moves, and I played Bishop G4 just to aim at the knight on F3. And there's a possibility of getting doubled pawns here against my opponent, but there's ways that he or they can avoid that. Let's say he, but based on the picture, even though that looks to be Tarash, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, he, she, or let's do he, she, or they then. He, she, or they might play e3, for instance, and now the queen's guarding, so as to prevent double pawns. But in many iterations, we'll see black double white's pawns here. It's not a book move, bishop to g4. Mostly the computer in the book wants white to play h3, then after bishop h5, g4, bishop g6. White has moved his kingside pawns quite a bit, but he hasn't castled to that side yet, is a big point. So anyway, if you want to look at that, do so further. It comes up a lot for me in my games, so I'm fairly glad to see it from a competitive standpoint. Now, the other way to avoid double pawns is to get this knight from f3 to scoot to e5. His strong outpost here, right? He can be, unseated from that outpost, but for purposes of the opening moves, this hits right at black's g4 bishop. I decided to scurry away from exchanges here. I could sit, right? The bishop can sit there. Let me do something like close the pawn structure behind him, and then if pawn to f3, inducing a structural weakness in black's kingside pawn structure, then maybe bishop back to h5. All right, but only after white has had to concede something. Let's take a quick look at the engines idea here for black is bishop c8. Torch 4 wants bishop all the way back to c8. I don't like that. That's too large of a concession for the game to still be within a pawn's reach. I don't know. Black to move here. Bishop h5, or bishop f5 seem to make sense. There's also just knight to d7. Accelerate your opponent's plan. Josh Waitzkin taught me this while lecturing through the Chessmaster 10 software. International Master Josh Waitzkin says sometimes you accelerate your opponent's plan. So I like doing that here with knight b to d7. And then if the knight wants to capture this bishop, it's not so bad to capture the knight, and if we're booted away, then just scurry right back. A lot of scurrying going on. Anyway, I played bishop h5, and apparently this is a bad move by quite a bit. So we'll keep with best and excellent moves until if we branch from that, or otherwise the computer might. Let's say here's another bad move. Yeah, this I can see, right? Just knight takes c6, b takes c6, queen takes c6 check. All this is as in the game. And then our best move here for black is to pin the knight to the king at d7. Maybe this is all part of why bishop to c8 was better a ways earlier in terms of the computer's ideas. This is ugly bad for black. He's down a pawn already, and some of his material on the king side is either pinned, uh, attacked twice with no defender. So this is not good, folks. Which I guess we'll skip over to the review here. I guess this also means, um, why did how did I end up winning? Somehow I ended up winning, and it had to be part of. I kept playing, so knight takes d5. Right here with black. Look, my main objective, I gotta recover some material. The king has to become safe. So just kind of natural attacking moves. E6, simple, but gets the dark squared bishop ready to become part of an attack. The knight moves, alright. And it wasn't the best of moves, even better. Then bishop b3 with 2 pieces on the pinned knight. It isn't so bad. Starting to build some pressure. Queen b5 attacks both bishop at h5 and bishop at b4. Queen b6. I suppose we could have played bishop takes c3 check. Captures, but then captures the bishop at the end of things. So that's not all that might not be the right thing to do. The computer has black playing queen e7 or bishop to a5. I don't like bishop to a5 because of the immediate queen takes h5. What am I doing? Why would I bishop to a5 just to lose the bishop on h5? Doesn't seem right. So let's go back to how we played in the game with queen, which was queen b6. And the point here is after a queen swap on b6, black is doing a lot better. Black's not doing all that poorly. Yeah, I think the swaps don't work out favorable overall, but we've got 2 pieces against c3, and it's good. My opponent didn't capture on b6 with a huge blunder here, allowing the sacrifice knight. Knight, not yet, maybe later on a Friday night, and I got my party here from the west side. I reach for my 40, then they turn it up. Designated driver takes the keys to my truck. Get the tops cause I'm faded. Honey's in the streets, say money, yo, we made it. Alright, so enough about feels so good in high hood tonight. See, another mention of Friday. You had to be paying attention to know that it was Friday, to know that there were 2 mentions of it. How about that? And rook takes c3 is an awesome sacrifice. Yeah, it's a ballsy move that I played. Bishop to d2 sort of goes away from, or blocks the main threat. I mean, the main threat here is rook to c5 check. Well, there's also now an attack against the queen at h5, but bishop to d2, and then rook to c5 anyway. It may not be the best move on the board, but it's still strong overall. It's clear. We know what's going to happen. At least close to it. I was able to push forward with some tactics. Now here I messed up, right? My opponent's up, but this is an interesting position. My opponent's up 7 points of material, and the evaluating engine has black ahead almost 5 pawn equivalents. It's all hinging on the correct move. Queen to b2, right. Queen takes b2, then the rook is just hanging there. Yeah, so my next move, I know my next move was not queen takes b2, so this is whatever my next move is a horrible blunder. But queen to b4 pretty much lets it slip away. So why am I showing you this? I continue to persevere. I'm trying to find different ways to win. What can I do? What can I do? Repeat checks. Am I looking for a repetition of position draw? Right? I'm pretty sure black can get at least that. Then I notice right around here, probably, to be honest, right around here, I notice my opponent is under 30 seconds. I have a 26 seconds against a minute 41 seconds can be quite strong for the side with the minute 41 seconds. So I said we're going to do checks in a way that don't repeat the position and will not trigger a threefold repetition draw, because I'm going to time this guy out. See, certain things go wrong board-wise, but there's, with just less than 15 seconds left on the board, I'm still going to be glad to find good moves like knight to d3 check. If captures, then I pick up the exchange with check. The king has to move to the second rank, so I can pre-move my queen takes f2 check, right? That's pretty much what happened. This is pretty much exactly what happened. Some more checks, and I'm just going to try to avoid repetition of position draws. My opponent has less than a second left on the clock. I'll trade queens to avoid the possibility of the likelihood of getting mated. Checkmating. My opponent times out. It is tough sometimes to lose on a timeout, but anyway, there's some this chess game. This was not a clean chess game, right? It was not done and dusted with accurate, end game. This game was not particularly accurate overall, right? We see on this. We see on the game graph that white had a decent advantage. Then black had a even stronger advantage. They duke it out around even for a little while. There's some back and forth sloppy play, and white has a strong advantage all the way to timeout. So this was not a clean chess game, but I thought my opponent and I both played well anyway. There were great moves. My opponent had 2 great moves. I had 3 great moves. I made a brilliant move with the rook sacrifice, and I knew what I was doing when I did it, so I'm glad that I played such a strong move. There was, disparity of material. White's, White's doing worse than even with a 7-point material lead. Right, and then if I had played queen takes b2, but there were blunders. I missed queen takes b2. It's indicated here as a mistake, but it's a horrible mistake. It cost me. I would have been up, and I would have had this pawn and this rook to show for it. So yeah, it's a really crazy game. I'm glad to have played it. Und mit dieser Spiele, mit meiner deutschen Sprache. Leute sind nicht allein, wenn wir können auf 2 Schachspiel miteinander. Also das war geht das war geht auch. Entschuldigung. So yeah, crazy game, crazy game. How about avoiding threefold repetition draws while down like a rook and a half. About, yeah, about a rook and a half. Crazy, crazy. All right, so there it is. You can see. Can you see? Ooh, all right, let me do this.